Well, as I speculated might happen last night when I said that Cam, Chemo, and Rubina can't seem to win HOH comps, and MJ was probably going to win another HOH comp, that's exactly what happens. They just can't win HOHs, and MJ can. But as we know, an MJ HOH really just means another Chelsea HOH. Chelsea's basically been HOH for 4 out of the last 5 HOHs since jury started. She got out Quinn on her HOH. Then Leah was an HOH. But then MJ was the HOH last week, but really Chelsea got her way. And then Chelsea was the HOH at the double. And now MJ's the HOH again, which kind of means Chelsea's the HOH again. All Chelsea really got to do now, in my opinion, is get to Final 3 with Cam and MJ. I think that this week MJ has nominated Rubina and Cam. And well, sure, maybe a move can still be made. It's going to have to either be MJ or Cam who decides to make that move. And I just don't see it happening as of right now. At least MJ's not going to make the move. That's not going to happen. Rubina went out, tried to throw Chelsea under the bus to MJ. Was the same scenario as with Leah last week. MJ ran all the information back to Chelsea. Rubina was telling MJ that last week Chelsea was trying to pitch to Rubina to nominate MJ at the double. I don't think MJ believes that. And Chelsea played it off like she was just asking Rubina who she would put up at the double. And that Rubina is the one that said that she would put up MJ. So Chelsea is MJ's number one. That's really what it comes down to in this game. And those three as a throuple, they are a trio. Trios don't tend to turn on each other often until really late in the game. And sure, we're really late in the game, but like MJ's not going to do it. And I have a hard time seeing Cam do it too. Rubina threw Chelsea under the bus and not Cam. And yeah, Rubina and Cam have a bit of a working relationship, but it's not that close of a working relationship. Like it's social. They're very social with each other, but not like intense game talk. And Rubina would have to do a lot of more intense game talk to really convince Cam to do something this week. So I have a hard time seeing Cam win the veto and taking down Rubina, and then Chelsea's forced to go up. Cam should think in his mind that maybe in order to win this game, he has to make some kind of move, but I don't know if he's going to do it. I also don't necessarily agree with the idea that Chelsea's the best player and whoever takes Chelsea out is going to win the game, at least not at Final 5. But even at Final 3, when people cut a big player at Final 3, we saw it in Big Brother 17 with Steve's win. Was Steve this great player? No. Did he cut the best player to win the game? Sure. But I don't think that's always going to work. I don't know if that's always a great argument, at least not in my opinion. It could very well work this season, though. To me, the only person besides Chelsea that I can see to beat the other 3 individuals in this game is Rubina. And it's not even that she has a good social game. Her social game peaked at being mediocre this season. I just think that maybe she could get votes in jury if Chemo, T-Core, even Angela are in jury. I think Quinn and Liam might not vote for Rubina, but nonetheless, I can see Rubina having the social edge on Cam in a Final 2, on maybe even Chemo in a Final 2, although I expect Rubina or Chemo to be going this week. With Rubina throwing Chelsea under the bus, MJ was wanting to get out Rubina this week, but Chelsea still seems to be sticking with wanting out Chemo this week. I think Chemo going is also what Cam wants, because I do think maybe Cam does see his connection to Rubina as maybe something he can use going into the Final 4. And I think maybe for Chelsea as well, maybe she sees Chemo as like the guy that can maybe win an important comp when need be, because Rubina has really faltered in almost every single competition except for one AI Arena. So I can understand why they see Chemo as a bigger threat right now, despite Rubina throwing Chelsea under the bus this week. I still think that it's just another aspect of Chelsea's great gameplay. Chelsea is a great game player. That is what it is. All this hate online that I don't really understand. You can't hate Chelsea as a player. To try and discredit her game, to me, is asinine. She has had to play from different positions in this game, and she's been able to play from different positions in this game. And you can call her dominating the end game boring, sure. But it's not like she didn't put in work. She still had to put in work every single week to get in this position that she is now in. And to me, surviving Final Four now, if she survives this week, which seems likely as of now, we'll see what happens with Vito, of course. But if she survives Final Four, it's almost like a shoo-in if she could get to Final Three with Cam and MJ and really convince both of them to take her to the end. She's put in that work the whole season. Her picking up MJ as a number, and Brooklyn too when they were in the house, is like, it totally shows how important it can be in these games to pick up someone who's at the bottom. And not only at the bottom, but really floundering at the bottom. That is what Chelsea did with MJ, and it really gave her this super loyal player. MJ is loyal to Chelsea. Yes, MJ does not have a working brain cell, but her being loyal to Chelsea, to me, is not what's dumb on her part. What was dumb on her part last week was taking out Leah, who could also be a number for her. She had a number in Chelsea, and she could have also had a number in Leah. That would have been the smart thing to do. That's why I said 2 weeks ago during that boring twist that shall not be named that MJ was kind of in the best position because she had the opportunity to play a middle game, but then she won HOH and you saw what happened. She took out a number that she could have played a middle game with. That was dumb. But her not wanting to take out Chelsea is not dumb to me. She was picked up by Chelsea when she was at the very bottom of this house, when nobody else wanted to work with her. Chelsea and Brooklyn, when Brooklyn was in the game, put in the work with MJ to become a loyal ally to them. That's great gameplay. It doesn't happen enough in these games where players pick up somebody at the very bottom floundering. Because when done right, as Chelsea's showing here, you're picking up such a loyal ally. And that's why MJ is so loyal to Chelsea, in my opinion. That's why somebody else is probably going to have to make a move on Chelsea, and it ain't probably going to be MJ. But yeah, for me, I see Chelsea needing to survive Final Four and get to Final Three with Cam and MJ, and it's kind of a shoo-in for Chelsea at that point, unless at Final Three is when Cam decides to make the big move to cut Chelsea if he wins the final HOH, which I highly doubt happening. Cam is he cannot win these competitions. He chokes in every single competition. I know he won a veto, but like, he is a choke artist in these competitions. There's no way he's still throwing competitions this late in the game. There's no reason to do that. So yeah, he's a choke artist in comps for sure, which I think also makes me believe that he wouldn't cut Chelsea at Final Three, even if he did somehow luck out and win the final HOH. And I have a hard time seeing MJ doing that too, because Chelsea continues to put in work trying to convince MJ that they need to go to Final Two together to have a real shot to win the game. And that seems to be working for now with MJ. But yeah, like I said, MJ is just so loyal anyway. Where Chemo and Rubina are concerned, I just don't respect their games. I really don't. As subpar as a winner as MJ and Cam would be, especially MJ after last week really having a bad HOH with the whole Leah situation, it became very hard for me to respect her game. Because, like, yeah, you're loyal to Chelsea, but to be that much of a puppet is bad gameplay from MJ. Chemo and Rubina, it's like they've never played the game hard at the same time. In the beginning, Chemo and Teak were this duo really trying to play, and at first Chemo was kind of the more take action of the two. Then he got with Tucker, and he kind of became too loyal to Tucker, and then he kind of just stopped playing altogether. But during that time when Chemo was playing a lot with Tikor, Rubina was not playing at all. Rubina was one of the last people to start playing these games besides Cam. Rubina did not have a game at all for like the first 3 or 4 weeks of this season. She was just there, which is why I still don't respect her game. Yeah, she has a subpar to mediocre social game now, late in the game. Whoop-de-doo. But like, as a duo now, because Tikor is out, they're not a trio anymore, I still don't see them as like an entity that really tries to play hard together, and I just don't respect it. I'm sorry, I don't. To be in this house this long, and in my opinion, Chemo and Rubina never really playing hard at the same time, it's like I don't want either of them to win, even though I do think Rubina has a shot to win. But one is probably going home this week unless something really crazy happens with the veto, and the only person that could pull off something really crazy this week is Cam. But is Chill Cam gonna really start a fire? I'll believe it when I see it, is what I will say. If he does, I will give him some credit for having a move made against Chelsea. If that's the only move he could really make at this point to have a shot at having a resume, I suppose. But I don't see it happening this week, at least. I think the throuple really sees them as a three that needs to make the end together, which is what any solid alliance should want to do. I do find it funny, all these people calling this like a steamroll when there's 2 weeks left is ridiculous. Like, we've suffered through real steamrolls on this show when there's like 7 people in an alliance, 6 people, 8 people in an alliance from the beginning of the season, steamrolling through the season. There was no steamroll this season. Yes, Chelsea has kicked a lot of butt at these final few weeks of the game, but she's only one person, and yeah, she has this trio, but like a trio cannot be steamrolling at final 8. That's just literally impossible. There's no numbers there. I just don't see this as steamroll. I just don't like all the complaining. All these people, past players, are my least favorite. I really genuinely have a disdain for like 95% of past Big Brother players. They just sit and cry on Twitter all day long. Janelle, I talked about her earlier in the season. Just go away. If you don't like watching Big Brother, why do you sit there and complain about it all season long on Twitter? Go away. Evil Dick, one of the worst winners of all time. Evil Dick is lucky that Jag won last season, or Evil Dick would still be, in my opinion, one of the worst winners, tied with Josh Martinez, I suppose. Evil Dick only won his season because of one of the most ridiculous twists of all time, where America had to vote for a player who couldn't even play the game. He had to make decisions that America made him make. And they made him make decisions that helped Evil Dick because America has always had bad taste. And thus, because of a twist like that, Evil Dick was able to win the game. So to sit there on Twitter and watch Evil Dick complain about all the players left in this game sucking except for Angela, who actually really did suck at the game, who had no social game, had no agency in the game. Like, these old heads are dumb. These old head past players whining all day long. I'm sick of them. They just don't make any sense. But, nothing on Twitter makes sense anymore, so it's not surprising. I will say this to end this video. The fact that Facebook had better opinions than X this year, Elon Musk has finally put an end to Twitter. They just look dumb, and they didn't want to have a party for Angela's eviction last night, but we threw a party here. Still glad she was evicted, just to see all these meltdowns on X.